Thank you for joining us today. My name is Shomik Ghosh. I'm Senior Assistant Editor with the Economic Times CISO. And today, we're going to be talking about inside the shift to proactive security, how today's enterprises are staying ahead of threats. Now, joining me today is Sharda Tickoo. She's the Country Manager, India and SAARC at Trend Micro. Sharda, thank you so much for joining us, and it's an absolute pleasure hosting you.
Thank you, Shomik, for having me.
All right. Well, Shraddha, today, the enterprise is talking about proactive security. If you can tell us a little bit about, why is proactive security today becoming the default approach, especially given the fact that we are living in an era when we have an expanding attack surface and the capabilities of AI-driven cyber attacks?
Very valid question, Shomik, and what I would say is that you answered a little bit of this question in the question itself. So attack surface is expanding. I think that's the primary reason why proactive security is something which has become a necessity. Now, the idea of proactive security is like everyone wants to be proactive in anything, and cybersecurity is no different to it. The idea is that how can we be a step ahead than attackers. Now, because attack surface is expanding, we are talking about cloud, IoT, remote work, AI is coming up as a new attack surface. It is becoming very difficult to keep pace with the fact that how are these attack surfaces vulnerable? What are the risks that are associated with all of these attack surfaces? Now, from proactive security, the idea or the intent is that we shift our approach and we try to see that how much can we minimize the focus on prevention. So the idea is that we have this attack surface. Can I get to know what are the risks associated with this attack surface? Can I quickly then prioritize those risks and then work towards mitigating that? Now, if you see what has happened typically, if we talk about the way cybersecurity investments have been made in past few years, it was always like, if it's a pyramid, it was always like investing in preventive controls, then you would invest in detective controls, then you would invest in maybe a SOC, layer of SOC, and then you would think of investing something in proactive controls like risk exposure management, so on and so forth. I think the time has come with the fact that the attack surface is exploding and the fact that there are cutting edge technologies like AI, etc., which are accelerating the way attackers are making threats. The time has come to take this triangle upside down, which means that proactive security or the investment in risk-based control assessments has to be the foundation of any security investment. So yeah, and we are seeing that these approaches being adopted widely. And yeah, the answer is that proactive security is not, I would say, a good to have. It is a must-have approach in today's security parlance.
All right. Yep. Well, Shraddha, the other topic that we wanted to talk about was, of course, the continuous threat exposure management. Now, we're seeing a lot of vulnerabilities. Now, if you can tell us a little bit about how CTEM can help organization assess and, prioritize these vulnerabilities before they can be exploited in the wild.
So, when we talk about continuous threat exposure management or CTEM, it is a term that was coined by Gartner. It is, I would say, it's a very beautiful framework that Gartner has come up with, a good concept, where essentially they are trying to say is that if you have to stay ahead of vulnerabilities, you have to ensure that you know what to prioritize. Now, if we say vulnerability management, Shomik, it has always been a pain area for enterprises, okay? Because we are always running through a checklist of CVEs and trying to say that, hey, you know what, these are the list of CVEs that I have to patch. And you have security teams running against that list, you have auditors checking them against this list, and everyone is blindly trying to ensure that this list is covered to the maximum. Now, given the digital environment we are living in, I think it will be it's a pipe dream to think that I will be able to cover 100% of vulnerability in an enterprise. If you're a thriving enterprise and you have adopted digital way of doing business, which almost 100% of the enterprises have adopted in today's age and time, there definitely will be certain vulnerabilities which will be existing. Now, the key is to understand that what do I prioritize, okay? And now it may seem very simple. Hey, prioritize the ones that have maybe high CVSS score. But that may not be relevant to your line of business. So CTEM basically takes a asks organizations to take a step back. It tells you that, what you do is you assess what is the attack exposure that you have. Say, for example, what is the digital exposure you have? You're hosted in cloud. You have certain instances which are in a service provider environment. These are your assets which are internet facing. These are your internal assets. So do a complete understanding of your attack surface, which is identify what is your attack surface. So identification is the first thing. Once you identify my attack surface, your attack surface, organization attack surface, the second phase would be to identify what are the risks associated with this attack surface. Okay. Then third, you prioritize and then mitigate. And all of this has to be continuous. It cannot be one-off exercise for an organization. And again, when we talk about prioritization, and CTEM lays down a beautiful foundation wherein they say that what is important to you as an organization may not be important to someone else. So if you are prioritizing, say, a vulnerability, what vulnerability should I patch first? It is depending on a lot of factors which are external. Say, for example, what is the exploitability of that vulnerability? Is there a known POC available in the vulnerability? Is it vulnerability available in the wild? So on and so forth. Certain external factors which are common to that particular vulnerability. And then comes the context of your environment. So, for example, I'll tell you that security teams maybe decided that, hey, this is the vulnerability which is found in a particular asset, and this is the high severity vulnerability. The CVSS score is 9 and beyond, and we have to patch that first. They go to the application team, and application team says, hey, you know what? The application where this vulnerability is found, this application is not giving me any profits. In fact, I would rather shut down this application than to spend time and operational effort in patching it. Okay, so CTEM gives you all of this together, and it gives you a cyclic approach, which actually then intertwines into being proactive.
Right.
Yeah.
Understood. Now, Shraddha, you did talk about CVSS scores. We did talk about CVE and the vulnerability and how easily they can be exploited. Now, organizations sometimes they collect a load of technical data, but then there is a huge necessity to convert all of that into evaluating business risk. So if you can tell us a little bit about how do organizations go about it, and also what's the role of continuous risk exposure management to accomplish this particular task?
So I love this topic. So when we talk about risks in general that an organization faces, the good news is that cyber risk is a risk. I mean, I think it is definitely a risk, and it is something that even the board members want to understand that, hey, what is the risks that I am susceptible to from a cybersecurity standpoint? Now, here comes the catch. Board wants to know what is the cyber risk that I carry. They reach out to the security office. They give them a language, certain technical pointers, which the business team is not able to understand. So there is a clear communication gap. It falls between the cracks. Board asks the security office, hey, what are the chances that I will get a ransomware attack in this year? And if I get a ransomware attack, what will be the potential damage that my organization will incur? Now, security teams are scrambling. What they're saying is that, okay, the chances of us having a ransomware attack are because there are these vulnerabilities that are open, but there are these assets. So their answers are very technical in nature. And that has given rise to something called as cyber risk index. And we are seeing that more and more organizations are working towards giving this a tangible number called cyber risk index. What is my CRI? Now, if we take a step back, risk assessment or cyber risk assessment is not something that organizations are doing for the first time. It has been done for decades. And it used to be a risk assessment would be, say, once in a year exercise or maybe twice in a year. And mostly it would be a tabletop exercise where, you would have someone who will assess the risk, ask you questions, you answer those questions, basis your question, there will be a table, a mapping, and you will be given that, hey, this is what your risk score is. Then I think after a few years, we started seeing that there are certain standalone vendors who started giving risk score. which was I think not fully qualified. It did not have enough meat, or it did not have enough data to back it up. It was a function of maybe just certain external the websites that you're hosting, the certificates, whether those certificates are expired or alive, and they used to give you a risk score, which was again intangible and not backed by the data. And that is where we are seeing that risk exposure management has to now take a new shape, where we are talking about that organizations should invest in a platform and control that will give them this risk exposure management, cyber risk exposure management in a continuous form. That's why we are talking about, say, for example, if I have to talk about Trend Micro Vision 1, while of course it has all the capabilities of giving your XDR on top of a platform, and it collects telemetries from multiple different sources and gives you high fidelity alerts and whatnot, cross correlates. For us, it was a natural augmentation that we thought that, hey, you know what? I have so much of insight into the customer's internal risk that they are carrying, and we also collect the risk that customer is facing from an external standpoint, and we came up with something called a cyber risk index. And this cyber risk index is now backed by the data. It is backed by the data which has a context to your environment. This cyber risk index is backed by the industry information also. So I think in our Vision 1 platform, Cyber Risk Index is something that we are seeing that organizations are widely using, and they are working towards ensuring that how do they reduce their risk score, and becomes a good activity to ensure that hygiene is maintained and vulnerabilities are taken care of. Talking about how it can help you bridge communication with the board. That was your original question. The second phase of Cyber Risk Index is Cyber Risk Quantification, CRQ. And I think CRQ is something that will definitely help bridge this communication gap between the tech teams and the board members or the business team. Essentially, what we are trying to say is that if this is your cyber risk index, I am assigning a dollar value against the risk that you have. And that dollar value is a function of your risk exposure, and also a function of the business you're doing. So we also put in certain key parameters which are relevant to the organization. Say, for example, do you have to adhere to certain compliances? How many times in a year do you do audit? How are vulnerability? Something which is specific to the business. All of that information is fed into the platform. You have risk index feeding the information from a threat landscape standpoint, and then we come up with something called as cyber risk quantification, CRQ. So that is a powerful tool, and now when a board member will ask a security office that, hey, what is the chances that I will be ransomed, and if I do, what is it that I would be, what is the damage that I will incur? This beautiful platform will give you risk index, it will give you the quantification value, and it will also tell you that why do we feel that this is the value or the operational overhead that you will have if you will be ransomed, and and then it also tells you that what are the proactive actions that you should take to reduce your risk exposure, reduce your risk score. And again, I feel that that's how cyber risk exposure management, we call it CREM, is something that is going to be a game changer in ensuring that the security office does not scramble when they are asked about, hey, how does my security exposure look like and what is my cyber risk? They will have ready reckoning reports that can be given to auditors or that can be presented to board members. It will actually ease a lot of communication.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure CISOs are going to be really interested in that. That's going to loosen up some purse strings for security spending.
Yeah,
as well.
and I presented this in the ETCIO summit, and I think that presentation got maximum clicks. I mean, there were a lot of phone cameras. Yeah.
Around,
so I surely think that is something that everyone is looking forward to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, another thing that you mentioned, that just piqued my attention, and that was Trend Vision 1. Now, we are talking about AI-driven attacks. Now, we also want to know about AI-driven responses, AI-driven cybersecurity capabilities, especially when it comes to applying cybersecurity, when it comes to assessing static vulnerabilities, and how do you translate that into real-time responses that are based on risks. So tell us a little bit about how this AI-powered platform of yours, Trend Vision 1, how does that accomplish this?
So Vision One, of course, it is our unified cybersecurity platform. Talking about AI, I think AI is going to be bringing so much shift into the way we are doing businesses. I think it is already doing that, and I think we will probably live to tell that we lived in that era where we saw that AI is going to make that significant changes in our lives. Having said that, when we talk about AI, uh, leveraging AI in cybersecurity is something which is not new. Okay. Like for example, if I have to talk what Trend Micro, we will be leveraging AI in cybersecurity for doing our business email compromise, for doing something called as DNA analysis of writing how CEOs write emails, and also that we can prevent against business email compromise. But now, when we are talking about the unified platform like Vision One, so we are seeing that there is a telemetry, there is a, like you said, large amounts of data that comes from too many points inside the network, right? And it becomes very important, and I would say it is necessary for any cybersecurity vendor. I think Trend Micro is no exception to leverage AI to make the most of the data that this tool is accumulating. And how it will help, and it has also there is also a progression that has happened. So for example, for us, when we started leveraging Gen AI in our platform, we used it as a small chatbot, which where security analysts would just ask, hey, can you show me the riskiest asset? It will just, you will just ask questions and it will give you random answers. From being just a chatbot, it became a security assistant, okay, wherein the security analysts then started asking, so, hey, can you help me? What are the steps that I should do? So it will tell you that, hey, this is how you have to do it. It slowly and steadily started becoming AI commander, which is where we are saying that it started telling you that if this is what your attack path looks like, if this is, I am telling you that these are the playbooks that should be run, and this is how the attack should be mitigated. So it started telling you that these are the things that you should be doing. So that's how we are leveraging AI in the platform. Agentic AI, again, a very powerful, agentic AI is determine a fundamental shift in how AI is being leveraged in cybersecurity platform. With agentic AI, we are using certain generic agents, certain specialized agents to do work. So the way these agentic AI agents work is that every agent is assigned a job. Like one agent is assigned to do a network analysis, second agent is doing a log analysis, third agent is writing a playbook or something. But the beauty is that all of these agents, while they are working in isolation, they work towards a common goal. So they are working and creating something called as agentic mesh, AI agent mesh as we call it. So this AI agent mesh is something that is powering a lot of proactive approach in our Vision One cybersecurity platform. For example, today we are able to predict what could be the potential attack path. So that's how proactive security is being leveraged in the platform. I'm not saying that, hey, this is your high critical asset and this is the attack and I have prevented. What I'm trying to say is that because you have so many vulnerabilities, because these are not patched, because these are security configurations, I am predicting that this attack can happen. And should this attack happen, this is the potential attack path that it will take. So we also take into consideration the asset graph, which asset is connected to which other asset inside the organization, and give you the attack path prediction, and also help you identify the choke points. Because if it is a chain of attack path and you would want to prioritize that, what should I fix first? So we help you identify the choke points. Say, hey, you know what, if you patch this application, you will be able to take care of a lot of other things, right? So that's how we are leveraging AI in our security platform. What we are also doing is that we have also released something called as Trend Cybertron. So Trend Cybertron is industry's first cybersecurity LLM model. So basically, we have put together the bunch of cybersecurity LLM models bundled it together, backed it with Trend Micro's 30 years of threat intel, and this a portion of this Cybertron is also being open sourced. It is available in GitHub, in Hugging Face for people to download. So yeah, so a lot of AI element is being leveraged to ensure that we are able to get the maximum benefit from the platform and the data that it is accumulating.
Sounds like exciting times ahead for Trend Micro.
Yeah.
So great to hear that. Now, Shraddha, we know for a fact that we are living in a hybrid and cloud-native architecture space. I mean, that's become the norm in today's time. Now, how can you help organizations actually unify some fragmented tools and make sense of what workload is there on which cloud, and also get better visibility around their cloud workloads and their tools as well?
See, for a longest time, cloud security was looked like another project inside the organization, and the way we are dealing with the organization. So there is a SOC, there is SOC team, and then there is a cloud security team, and they were evaluating their own products and trying to do what fits best into the cloud environment. Of course, I think cloud comes with its own nuances basis the platform that the organization is using. But I think the time has come where when we are talking about the unified approach, what essentially we are trying to say is that with the platform-based approach, with consolidation, when we are trying to minimize the number of security agents that an organization should use, this consolidation is also taking into consideration the cloud security piece. So what I mean to say is that while we are trying to evaluate the cloud security, we should keep in mind the fact that there are organizations may be using multi-cloud, some organizations may be hybrid in nature. So I think unification is only unification of the platform-based approach, and ensuring that cloud is also a part of it will only ensure that you get complete visibility, that there are no blind spots. And when I am talking about things like risk exposure management and everything, I think cloud is also one of the elements that cannot be ignored. So to answer your question, the platform-based approach is definitely helping in unifying a lot of these siloed assets inside the organization, which also includes cloud, by the way. We are consciously also telling customers that, hey, the beauty of the platform lies in the more integrations it has, the more connected or the more integrated it is with your ecosystem. So feel free to connect this to any of your cloud environment. Feel free to connect it to your directory servers. Feel free to connect it to your one VMS solutions, because more the connections, more the integrations, the better insights the platform can give.
All right. Well, that was some great talking points, and great to know about the kind of accomplishments and the kind of products that Trend Micro has lined up for security professionals. Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Sharda Tickoo, the country manager, India and SAARC at Trend Micro. Shraddha, thank you so much for talking to us today, and it was an absolute pleasure talking to you and hosting you as well.
Likewise, Soumik. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks.